Finally today, this is also not circular firing squad related, but Facebook's oversight board has finally issued its first ever rulings, which Facebook says it will abide by. And it's notable that the board overturned 4 out of the 5 cases it reviewed, quoting NBC News. The board's first rulings concerned 5 cases in which Facebook had removed posts for violating its policies. And in 4 out of the 5 cases reviewed, the board voted to overturn Facebook's original decisions. The board also called on Facebook to give users greater clarity over its policies and how it intends to enforce them. 2 of those rulings pertained to Facebook's policy on hate speech, one of which was overturned and the other upheld. In the first case, Facebook had removed a post from a user in Myanmar who appeared to disparage Muslims as psychologically inferior. While the company decided that the post violated its policy, the board ruled that the terms used were, quote, not derogatory or violent, end quote. While the post might be considered pejorative or offensive towards Muslims, it did not advocate hatred or intentionally incite any form of imminent harm, the board wrote. In the second case, a user posted a term to describe Azerbaijanis that Facebook interpreted as a slur. The board similarly ruled that, quote, the context in which the term was used makes it clear it was meant to dehumanize its target and upheld Facebook's decision. The third case pertained to nudity. The board overturned Facebook's decision to remove an Instagram post from a user in Brazil intended to raise awareness about breast cancer. The post included 5 photographs that showed women's nipples, which the board declared permissible in light of Facebook's own policy exception for breast cancer awareness. The fourth case pertained to violence. One user quoted Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propagandist who is on Facebook's list of dangerous individuals. Facebook policy states that quotes attributed to such individuals are an expression of support for that individual unless otherwise stated. But the board said the quote, did not support the Nazi Party's ideology or the regime's acts of hate and violence, end quote. The fifth and final case pertained to misinformation. Facebook had removed a post from a user in France that falsely claimed a cure for COVID-19 existed and criticized the French government for failing to make it available. Facebook said the post could lead people to ignore health guidance or attempt to self-medicate. But the board, considering the context of the user's post, argued that the user was, quote, opposing a government policy and aimed to change that policy, and that his post would not lead people to self-medicate since the combination of those medicines was not available without a prescription, end quote. So are you happy now, everybody? Facebook does have this moderation board, and it seems that they're making decisions that people are probably not going to be very happy with.